I don't want to go long. I am going to try and be as succinct as possible and not digress. Try and walk you through this. I'm going to talk about four things that have happened while you have been distracted with Afghanistan. Those four things are Biden's senility, the pullout of Afghanistan, or rather, how it was done, the FDA, and SCOTUS, all to bring you to one point, and that is the mandates. And it is what I am, the war of can't buy. Okay? All right, so let's get started. I did a video a couple of weeks ago about, well, no, not a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago, and I'm still in Facebook jail. Oh, and I forgot my house cleaning. If you can like it, you can share it. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. And never take the light of truth and place it under a basket. Let it shine bright for all to see. What am I saying? Pay attention and always share information with others. That's how it goes. All right. And where you used to have to do things by word of mouth, one or a few people at a time, now you got the internet. Okay, let us get into this. First off, segregation Joe Biden, that's what I call him. If you don't know why I call him that, all you have got to do is go and research Joe Biden and everything that he has done and said in the past, all the way back to not Larry, but Robert Byrd, the Klansman and the segregationist that Joe Biden campaigned with. Yeah, I'm going to be dropping little pieces of nuggets so you can go and get it if you want to, but I'm not going to get into too much detail here. So we got segregation Jim Joe. Everybody's talking about he's crazy, he's stupid, he's done it. And I'm just sitting here in amazement. This man is not crazy. This man is not stupid. He is not an idiot. He is not senile. As with age, he loses his thought or train of thought here or there and stumbles or whatever the case may be. Still, Joe Biden knows exactly what he is doing. Now, everybody is talking about how much we've lost. Okay, $1 trillion spent, the military industrial complex. They got the profit, we got the debt because the Fed printed that money, thanks to Richard M. Nixon taking us off the gold standard and gave it to them. They bought bombs, bullets, planes, etc., etc. Oh, all of which equipment over there in Afghanistan is being left. So we lost $1 trillion in debt. We lost blood and lives in our human resources, the soldiers, okay? And we paid for it for a period of 20 years. The main players won. They didn't lose a damn thing. 20 years of profit for them and 20 years of loot, of blood, sweat, tears, lives. Yeah, that's what we, the people, lost. But not those in D.C., the politicians who benefited from the military-industrial complex. Man, look like I'm going long because, I just don't want to say something and not give you all of it. That's a bad habit of mine. I have digressed and I said I wouldn't. Anyway, so nobody lost but us. They won. Remember that, first and foremost. This was planned. And there were a series of things that was happening. The pullout, the crazy pullout, This was planned. They knew they were going to do it in advance because that war was ending and a new war was about to take place. This is the war where the military-industrial complex was going to be replaced with big pharma. Now, I have told you before, imagine a group that is able to touch each and every citizen in the world with their product and get banked. Just imagine that amount of power. They could buy every hell. Damn near all the politicians have been bought anyway. They could buy every politician that can be compromised. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? All right, so let me get back. Joe Biden is not crazy. Joe Biden is not senile. Joe Biden is not any of that. Joe Biden is playing the game. Joe Biden is implementing the plan as the head of the United States right now. All right, so we've dispensed with that. The pullout, we all know that it was crazy. Why was it done that way? As a distraction. Because while you have been distracted, the new war is gearing up in full swing here in America. And if you don't believe me, remember, I told you over 18 months ago, one man, our economy, one election. That's what the coronavirus was all about. I said it. I told you. I've told you about rhinos. Now, I don't want to hear some knucklehead. Why you always keep telling us you want us? Because stupid mofos need to know so that they won't be stupid mofos again. When somebody is coming and bringing you the truth and you ignore it at your own peril. And here we are again, still repeating the same nonsense. So, Joe Biden said before he was elected, I will not mandate vaccines. His words. I've shared the video. I keep all that stuff. Joe Biden still came back and said, we will work with private businesses to bring this under control. That's exactly what's happening. So now, while you have been distracted over there with those in Afghanistan, oh, one other thing. The distraction, the wordplay on stranded Americans, et cetera, and how they're trying to reword it, et cetera, et cetera. Understand this. I did a video and I asked the question, why were they still over there? You'd have to be a bleeping idiot to remain in a country that requires an external force to maintain the peace, and to hear that we are pulling out and still be over there. They were intentionally given a false sense of security by the Biden administration. That's why they were still there. Okay? Period. End of story. Why? Because they needed this distraction, and they got it. Because most people's heads are up their butt on Afghanistan. They need to remove them, wipe their eyes so that they can see. Now, we'll talk about move on to what happened with the FDA. We all heard, and I'm going to go back and give them to you in order so that you can see. We all heard that the FDA has approved, this is what we've been told, they've approved the vaccine. Oh man, boy, they got so much trickery. And I shared this today. This is very important for you to understand. The biggest cause for many people not taking the vaccine, for a lot of them, is the emergency use authorization. Okay? It has a liability shield, meaning if it kills you, if it hurts you, you cannot sue them. That was for the purposes of adults. They already have a permanent liability shield for our kids that have to get vaccinated to go to public. That was from the Vaccine Act of 1986 or 88, or maybe 88, signed by Ronald Reagan. All right, and everybody tried to use the excuse when I brought that up. Well, we don't think he was very cognitive at that point, and he was tricked into doing that. Okay, you call it whatever you want. All right, so, but I still love Ronald Reagan and what he did. I just want to put that out there. But that was a dumbass decision. Yeah, excuse the Sunday school. All right, so the what they have just now told you is that the FDA has approved the vaccine. Well, they approved one vaccine, and that vaccine is by BioNTech. And under the auspices of the approval, because it is going to be going into adults, they have not given it the liability shield. But herein comes the catch. First off, why are they telling us this lie? Because they want to get rid of people's excuse of the emergency use authorization. All right? They want to take that away. But they're not telling them the whole story. BioNTech is not on the market to be used yet. Okay, well, what the hell is going on? People are going to assume, because they're not being given the whole story, that the FDA has approved the vaccine and they're going to go and get it. Well, which one is everybody being given nowadays? Mostly the Pfizer. It is still under the emergency use authorization, all right? Still. And it still has the liability shield. Still. So if it F's you up, guess what? There ain't nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. But they are deliberately deceiving you. Now, they can't put me down for this because I'm telling the truth. They can research me, they can report a video or do whatever. Now, they may shut it down simply because I told you, but these are facts that you can go and look up for yourself and see. Pfizer is still under the Emergency Use Authorization Act. All right. So I wanted to throw that piece in there about the FDA because all of this ties together. So let me go on and tie it together for you. In July, around mid-July to late July, SCOTUS made a ruling because Joe Biden said and knew, he said, I am not going to do because he can't. He is directly bound by the Fourth Amendment. He can't make that kind of law or that kind, even not even in an executive order, mandating something that would be shut down immediately. So I'm going to work with private businesses. SCOTUS just ruled in late July. The date may be the 18th or the 28th. They just ruled that states can mandate vaccines. States. Well, states got their own constitution. States have their own president, so to speak, the governor. And if the governor don't step up and outlaw it outright, then what? Why do you think the federal government has not sued DeSantis or Texas for banning mandates? Because they cannot. States can do that, all right? Kemp, by the way, hasn't done anything to be proactive like Abbott or DeSantis, Texas and Florida, to ban vaccine mandates, passports, and masks. So now that we have that understanding, SCOTUS has made this ruling. That sets the stage. This is in mid to late July. Well, what happens? 2 weeks later, we pull out of Afghanistan, ostensibly. Of course, we have until the first, it was the 11th. Now I'm hearing August 31st. So SCOTUS makes their ruling. They announce the pullout. That creates this big distraction that segregation Jim Crow Joe is crazy, incompetent, etc., etc. Everybody's got their heads up their butts looking at Afghanistan, all right, what they eat, you know, that's what they crap is what you're eating, all right, up their butts on Afghanistan. Yeah, you connect the dots and figure it out. That's your distraction. The SCOTUS made their ruling. They create the distraction. Then the FDA makes their announcement, which is, in truth, nothing but a lie. All right. Pfizer is still under the emergency use authorization with the liability shield. The one that's not, you can't even get. BioNTech, look it up. You can't even get it. So that is to dispel and go after the people who have been hesitant for that reason. Then they get them going in. And every day since the turmoil started in Afghanistan, and I have been posting them, and this is the last part, the war of can't buy or sell has been waging strong, and it is not getting major media coverage. The Epoch Times and what I may find in other independent sources is where I am finding all of these battles that are taking place. In Texas, they are literally trying to sue the governor for putting in the mandates, but so far he has been successful. In Florida, they are trying to recall DeSantis because he has been putting bans on mandates and vaccine passports, etc., etc. This is what they're doing. A college disenrolled all of their students that did not show that they have been vaccinated. The Raiders are telling you can't enter their games unless you have proof that you have been vaccinated. And if you want to get in the game that bad, you can go ahead and take the needle in the arm. In DeKalb County, Georgia, Decatur, they set up a thing where they even had Dominique Wilkins out there promoting it, where they gave Negroes $100 cash cards. So many Negroes showed up to get that vaccine, they had to shut it down. There were enough out there to make a Tarzan movie. So these battles are going on each and every day somewhere here in America where somebody is passing some sort of mandate, whether it be for masks, whether it be for vaccines, or whether it be for passports. One school or the school boards in Florida are being told by the Biden administration, if you go ahead and keep your mandates in place, we will pay you to do it, against what DeSantis has already ordered as being illegal based on his ban. Do you understand what's going on? You're worried about what's happening over there in Afghanistan while you are losing your very right to choose here in America. And it is bewildering to me how people can't understand it. Those people that went to Afghanistan, I believe they were tricked into staying longer than they were supposed to. Shame on the government for that. But they are being used as fodder to keep you disgusted in Joe Biden. Joe Biden ain't going nowhere. He'll still be there. I don't want to hear no more about, well, I'm just trusting the plan and waiting on Trump to be installed. I posted the last thing that somebody put out there about he was going to be back in office on August 22nd. Well, it didn't come, and I posted that screenshot out there. Okay, are you ready to stop now? Are you ready to start paying attention to what's really going on? Trump is going to run in 2024, period. That's it. He's not going to be put back in by the military. Yeah, I know I digress, but I'm trying to make a point. While you are either sitting on your hands and feet or focused on what's going on in Afghanistan and how crazy Segregation Joe is, you are missing the mark. They are screwing you over, all of us over. Here in this country, each and every day, they are moving towards any method whatsoever to encourage you to go and get that vaccine. They are identifying people who have not been vaccinated. My employer sent out this, what they call mandatory survey, where you self-certify that you have been vaccinated. And if you didn't have the proof, you give them a waiver to go and look that information up for you. They want to know who has not been vaccinated. Well, I'm on that list because I have not and am not. There are some things you're going to have to sacrifice if you want to maintain your liberty and your freedom. So if I get fired for that, that was a sacrifice I was willing to make. Likewise, if I die from the coronavirus, it was my choice. Nobody forced me into not taking. I want that right. Always. Because when they take away what you can do with your own body, you have nothing left. You have nothing left. Your freedom is gone. You may not be in a cell, but you can't even make basic choices for yourself. And do you think that this is going to stop with just this one vaccine? They're already talking about a booster. This is one group, Big Pharma, controlling the whole world. They are marking you. I hope that y'all will hear my words. I didn't lie to you about rhinos. Now you hear more politicians. When I started saying it 10 years ago, they told me, but Grayson, now, you know, if you really want to move up in the Republican Party, you can't use the word rhino. That's going to be we just don't say that. We don't do that. Now you hear politicians in office using the word rhino, you know, no, yeah, it's become the new thing. Now, why weren't you doing something about rhinos back then? And I'm sick of the theater with politicians. I've explained most of them are bastards because they don't do anything but screw us over. And that includes the rhinos who cannot stop them. There may be 5 or 6 true conservatives, but the truth be told about them, even Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, with their stellar voting records, they have not stopped anything. Not one mandate. They didn't say jack about what was going on with Afghanistan. Somebody knew what the hell was about to happen? Nothing. And I say if they really want to be effective, they give good information. They'll tell you what's happening. Most of the time is after the fact. Or they'll tell you what's going on that you shouldn't like. But what have they put on the line? All they got to give up is one good secret about the government. Yeah, they may go to jail, for violating the Constitution. In other words, treason, or, for releasing classified information. But hey, sometimes you have to make a sacrifice for the greater good. And that's what I think people are missing. There was a survey done, and I'm going to shut up with this. I think I've talked enough. That was a study. Well, it wasn't really a study, but some research that was put together about the number of people that were former military serving in Congress. It went from a majority, meaning more than the 535 that are up there, to a minority of those that have served. Well, what's the significance of those that have served? If they were honorable, if they served honorably, they understand what it is to sacrifice all for the greater good. Even if it comes down to that one single order where they give the full, all the good measure of what they are for their country. They understand that. But most of these politicians up here don't understand that. They don't get it. They aren't willing to put it all on the line. I gave a speech once where I said, I am willing to die for this country. And trust me, had I gone to D.C., one good secret showing that America is being screwed over by those that they trust each and every day to make their lives better, which that ain't government's job in the first place. If they knew, they would do something different. I used to always say, you can't blame a child that never knew, that grows up to become a thug. Nobody ever taught him anything, which is why I said children need both their mother and their father. I'm not going to get off the point too far. But if they grow up to be a thug, if they don't finish school, if they don't have the knowledge of this or the other thing to be successful in life, if you didn't put nothing in them, you aren't going to get anything good out of them. Yeah, there are exceptions to every rule with single parents, but that is not the norm. So my point is, when people know to do better, they do better. So if the politicians in America were willing to put it all on the line for the greater good, and if most of them were willing, you wouldn't have so many that would be screwing us over like they are. The bureaucrats who mistreat people, and the military-industrial complex, corporatists, lobbyists, they wouldn't be able to be so. But most of those politicians that you elect are not. I don't care about Democrats, and I'm closing with this. I don't care about the Democrats. Ain't nothing you can do for them. Those idiots support abortion by and large, and all of this sexual deviancy that we see going on here that they're trying to normalize amongst our children. It's one of the reasons why I don't do Netflix. Damn near every show you go to, they got to throw some gay stuff in it, and I'm just not interested in that. If I want to watch a movie about metal monsters or werewolves or vampires, I don't need that. Don't try and indoctrinate me. It offends me. You can do whatever you want in the privacy of your own bedroom, but don't try and bring it into normality with me. I have a problem with that. And then this transgender disease. And this is why I say the church is those mostly professing to be Christian. So let me not say the church, because there is a remnant that gets it, that does the right thing, that speaks the truth. But by and large, most of those that profess to be Christians, They are not Christians because they have allowed some of the three of the most damnable deeds ever to infiltrate this country. And that is going to be this transgenderism nonsense, normalization of sexual deviance to our children in school, and abortion. That's it. Now that's just the bottom line for me in anything, you know. If you support any of that nonsense, so Democrats ain't nothing you can do about them. But rhinos, those are the ones we need to target. And why do we need to target rhinos? Because rhinos make Democrats possible. All right, I'm going to close with that. I have gone 25 minutes. Yeah, 25 minutes and 33 seconds. I hope you enjoyed the talk. Just trying to keep it real and help you see what's going on. Don't be distracted by Afghanistan. Joe Biden is not crazy. They are doing what they're supposed to do. And if you just start looking for yourselves, just look around. Look at all of the mandates that are taking place all over the country by private businesses. They even protested in New York saying it is not a small business place. Small businesses, it is not their place to force vaccine mandates. This is all of the stuff that's happening each and every day here in America since we started with this nonsense over there with Afghanistan. T-Mod out, drive time till next time. Peace. Hopefully the next video won't be this long.